Welcome to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we'll be doing a full tutorial of the Schwab Mobile App. We're going to cover everything from how to place stock and options trades to create a watch list, transferring funds, and really anything else you guys may need to know inside of here. Now, this is probably going to end up being a long video, so please feel free to use those timestamps down below if you guys do need to jump ahead to a specific topic. But jumping right into it, let's first go over the general navigation of this tool, how you're going to get around in here. So first off, if you look at the very bottom of your screen there, you'll see the tab I currently have selected is the Summary tab. This is where you're going to be able to see everything that's going on in your account right now. So basically, what positions are you currently holding? Are you up? Are you down? How much cash do you have available to spend? Basically just what is going on in your account right now. The next tab at the bottom there, marked Order Status, this one kind of speaks for itself. It's all of the open and working orders you currently have on right now. So for example, let's say you had an open order to buy 20 shares of Apple. If it ever dropped down to 120, that is what you would see in this window right here. This is where you would also be able to cancel or edit that working order if you needed to. Now, moving on from that, the Trade button, the third tab at the bottom, this is where you can come when you actually want to place a trade, whether that be on stock, options, mutual funds, you're going to do all of that right from here. Now, the fourth tab at the bottom, Mark Markets, this is where we can get a nice little overview of what is happening in the market right now. So right up here at the top, you can see what the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ are doing. If we scroll down a little bit, we can also see what the overall sectors are doing, like utilities, financials, materials. But again, it's basically just a glimpse at what is going on in the market right now, as well as some news articles. Maybe some breaking news is coming out that we might need to be aware of. Now, finally, the last tab at the bottom there, marked More, we go ahead and click on that. This is where we can see all of the additional tools that are available inside of this app. If you look at the top there, you'll see a watch list tab, a stock slices tab, as well as transfer and payments. If we want to transfer funds in or out of the account, this is where we could do it. Now here towards the end of the video, I'll also show you how to customize those tabs at the bottom. Maybe you want to move them around or put other tabs down there, but we'll save that for the end. Now don't worry, I'm going to go through each one of those tabs I did like a little overview of, much more in depth. But the first thing I wanted to focus on is how we can actually create and customize our own watch list in this app. So in order to do that, you can see we already have the More tab selected, and at the very top there, we're going to select the Watch List tab. From there, as soon as the page opens up, we can see a nice little watch list right in front of us, and looking at the very top of the screen, you can see the name of this watch list. In this case, it's just called the Device Watch List, and down below we can see companies like Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Coin, and Micron are in this watch list. Just to the right of each of those symbols, you can see what that stock is currently trading right now, as well as what it was up or down for the day. Now, if you wanted to add additional symbols to this specific watch list, you would simply come down to the Add Symbol box at the very bottom and go ahead and click on that. From there, we could then search for the symbols that we wanted to add. So let's say we wanted to add AMD to this list. We're going to type in AMD here, and then we're going to click on it at the very top there. And there we go. We now have AMD in this watch list, and we can see it last traded for 104.29. Let's say we also wanted to add its competitor, NVIDIA. We're going to hit Add Symbol here, type in NVDA, and then click on it in the list here to add it. So you can see adding additional symbols to a current watch list is not too tricky. But let's say you wanted to create a brand new one. Well, to do that, we're simply going to come up to the very top and click on your current watch list name. In this case, Device Watch List. As soon as you click on that, you'll see all the watch lists on this phone currently, as well as the ability to add an additional watch list. So for this one, let's say we wanted to create a healthcare watch list. I'm going to go ahead and click on Add a Watch List here. I'm then going to come up to the very top to where it says Watch List 1 and go ahead and rename that. So I'm going to delete what's in there, and then I'm going to type in healthcare. Now that we're done typing in the name, we simply need to add a few symbols to this list. So let's come down here to Add a Symbol. We'll click on that. And I'm going to go ahead and add Pfizer, which is PFE. Go ahead and click on it in the list here. Then I'm going to click Add a Symbol, and we'll also add ABV, A-B-B-V, and click on in the list. Now let's say I'm happy with just those two in this watch list currently. We'll come up and hit the Done button, and now we can see our healthcare watch list right up at the top. If you ever needed to change to your other watch list, again, you simply need to come up here to the name, find the watch list you want to go to, and then just click on it. Now, if you guys ever need to delete a symbol from this watch list, all you have to do is come up to the Edit button in the upper right-hand corner. From there, you'll see all the symbols we currently have with a little red circle just to the left of it. And if we want to delete one of these guys, we just need to click on the red circle. So let's say we wanted to get rid of NVIDIA. I'm just going to click on the red circle next to it and then hit delete. Let's also say I wanted to move AMD up to the very top. Well, what I could do is click on the three little lines on the far right-hand side and then drag it up to the top. Now that I'm happy with the new position of it, I'm just going to hit done in the upper right-hand corner. And there we go. We just deleted NVIDIA and moved AMD up to the very top. Now, finally, the last thing I'll mention on here is the ability to select the heat map in the upper left-hand corner. So let's go ahead and click on that. From there, it'll give you a little picture of what's up and down for the day, as well as like shading depending on how much it was up or down. So basically, the brighter the red or the brighter the green, the more it was up or down for the day. I'm not a huge fan of the heat map, so I'm just going to go back to the watch list, but it is available up there in the upper left-hand corner. Now, moving on from creating a watch list in this app, let's next go over the stock profile page. This page is basically where we can see a bunch of good information about the stock that we're looking at. Fundamental information, a nice little chart of it, that kind of stuff. Now, there are a couple different ways to access the stock profile page. One of them is from the watch list, and that's by simply clicking on the symbol. So let's say we wanted to take a look at AMD. We'll just go ahead and click on AMD in our list here. As soon as we do, we go to the AMD stock profile page. The other way to access this is by simply using the search button in the upper right-hand corner. Looks like a little magnifying glass. From there, if we click on that, we can then type in the symbol that we want to look for. So let's say we wanted to take a peek at Apple. We'll type in AAPL here, and then click on it in the list. From there, it then brings up the Apple stock profile page. Now, right at the top of the page, we can see what Apple last traded for. So Apple last traded for 154.73. It was down 379 on Friday, which was a 2.39% move. Right below that, you've got a big green trade button if you want to go to the trade page and either buy or sell the stock, or maybe buy and sell the options on it. That's what the trade button is for. Just below that, you have the ability to add this symbol to our watch list or go to the option chain. A little bit further down, we can see a basic little chart for Apple, and right now it's a 1 day, 1 minute chart. So this is the activity for Friday. If you wanted to look back a little bit further, we could go to 5 days, 1 month, or 1 year if we want to see the overall activity for Apple over the past year. Scrolling down a little bit further, we can also see some basic pricing information or stock information about Apple. So here we can see the current bid and ask, we can see the volume for the day, the 10-day volume average, the previous day's close, today's open, and the put to call ratio. Further down, you can see some basic news that has mentioned Apple in the articles. We can see their dividend payout ratio, their next earnings date, basically just fundamental data about Apple. Now, another thing I'll mention if we scroll all the way back up to the chart, I'm not actually a fan of this, but if you wanted to see an expanded view of this chart, you could go ahead and click on it. And the thing I'm not a fan of is the fact that it turns it into a horizontal view on your phone, and now you got to turn your phone sideways. But this is where you could come if you wanted to add some studies to your chart. Now, closing out of that, we'll go back to the stock profile page, and let's next move on to how we can actually place a trade in this app. The first thing we're going to go over is how to buy and sell stock in here. Now, there are a couple different ways we could do that. Obviously, the first way is by simply hitting that big green trade button in the middle of our screen here. Or the other way by coming down to the trade button at the very bottom of our app. In this case, since we do want to place a trade on Apple, we'll simply hit the trade button right up there at the top, the green button. From there, it automatically takes us to the trade page, and now we just need to run through the steps. So if we scroll down a little bit, we can first tell the action, basically what do we want to do? Do we want to buy shares, sell shares, or sell short? In my case, I want to buy some shares of Apple, so I'm going to hit the buy button, first tab at the top. The next thing it asks is if we want to reinvest dividends. So let's say we do. Anytime I get paid an Apple dividend, I want to use that to just buy more shares of Apple. So I'm going to hit the little toggle button here. The next thing we need to specify is how many shares of Apple we actually want to buy. In my case, let's say I wanted to buy 50 shares of Apple. So I'm going to click in the quantity box and then go ahead and type in 50, then hit done. You'll see there on the right-hand side, it also tells me the estimated total for this transaction. So if I buy 50 shares of Apple, it'll cost me about $7,700. If we then continue scrolling down, we can then see the order type we need to select, and you see there are a few different order types available to us. For those of you not completely familiar with the difference, a market order simply means we want to buy those shares immediately and we'll take whatever the current price is. So basically you're saying just get me those shares, I'll take whatever the price is, whatever it might be trading for. The next one there is a limit order. That means we are specifying a price. We're saying we only want to buy these shares if we can get it for this price or lower. The next two are going to be stop orders, which are typically going to be used to get you out of the position if things are going against you. So let's say you already had 50 shares of Apple and you said, man, if Apple ever drops below 120, get me out of this thing. I don't want to lose any more money. That would be an example of a stop order. Now, in my case, for this example, I want to use a limit order. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the word limit here. The next thing I need to do is actually specify my price. In my case, I'm going to say I only want to buy these shares of Apple if it drops down to 140. So clicking in this box here, I'm then going to type in 140 and then hit done. The next thing I need to do is actually specify the timing of it. As of right now, it's marked as a day order only. Now, a day order is only good for the regular market session, and it's only good for today. So basically, that would be 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If this order does not fill by 4 p.m. Eastern Time today, it's just going to go ahead and cancel the order. Now, the next one up there is good until canceled. That means if that order doesn't happen today, try again tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, try again the next day, and so on until it actually fills or until I cancel the order. The last one you see there is extended hours. That's if you want it also good for the pre-market and post-market as well. So if you're on Eastern Time, that would be 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now for this example, I'm actually going to go ahead and flip it over to the GTC order, basically good until canceled, saying if I'm ever able to buy these shares at 140, go ahead and buy them. Now once you're happy with everything, you filled out the order ticket, the only thing you need to do next is hit the review order button in the lower right-hand corner. As soon as you do that, it just takes you to an order confirmation screen, just confirming everything looks right. You had everything filled out correctly. If you had everything filled out correctly, everything looks good, you would simply scroll down and hit the big place order button down at the very bottom. Now in my case, I don't have enough money to do this trade, so I'm going to go back to step 1 and actually just get out of this order ticket since I don't want to place it. But I think you guys get the idea. Trading stock in here is actually pretty simple. You simply need to search for the stock you want to trade. So coming up here to the upper right hand corner, let's say we wanted to trade Coinbase, COIN, and then click on it in the list here. If we wanted to buy some shares of the stock, we would simply hit the green trade button. We would then scroll down and just start filling out this order ticket, specifying we want to buy the shares, how many shares we want to buy, what order type we want to use, and then how long and when we want that order good for. Now, moving on from that, the next thing we'll go over is how we can buy and sell options in here. Now, I will start off by saying that this platform isn't the best for people trying to trade options. It's pretty simple, but in order to do that, let's go back up to the summary page and then search for a company. In this case, I actually already have Coinbase pulled up, so let's just go ahead and use this guy. The first thing we could do is come down to the option chain. And if we go ahead and click on that, you will see an option chain for Coinbase pull up. If I scroll all the way to the very top of the screen, you'll see that this is the March 18th, 2022 expiration. So all of these option contracts down below expire in 5 days from today. If I wanted to change the expiration, I would simply click on the date there, and then down at the very bottom of the screen, I can then see all of the different expirations available to me. In my case, let's say I wanted to go out to the May 20th expiration, so scrolling down, I can find it there, and now I'm going to hit done. Now looking there, we can see May 20th is 68 days from today, and looking down below, we can see all of the different option strike prices available to us. If I didn't make it clear, these strike prices are listed right in the middle in that dark gray column. All of the call options are going to be on the left-hand side. All of the put options are going to be on the right-hand side. The in-the-money options have a blue shaded background, whereas the out-of-the-money options have a white background. So looking through here, we can see the current prices for all of these option strike prices. Let's say I was looking at the 165 calls here. You can see they're currently going for $18.20 by $20.70. Now, if I decided to buy that guy, so let's say I wanted to buy the 165 calls, I'm simply going to click on the asking price for that option contract. As soon as I do, you'll see it brings up the profile page for that 165 call. Right there, you can see the last traded price for this option was $19.70. You can see it hasn't changed in value today, since today is actually Sunday, so there has been no change. Right below that, you can see the current bid as well as ask for these contracts, and then you can also see the volume, open interest, open, high, low, 52-week high, 52-week low, just a bunch of information about these options. Now, if you want to move forward with the trade, you actually want to buy this option contract, we could simply come up here and hit the trade button at the very top. As soon as I do that, it brings me to an order ticket to actually buy this 165 call. Looking at the top there, you can see it does have coin, so we are trading the Coinbase options. Looking down a little bit further, it says we're about to trade the May 20th of 2022 165 call, so that's the option contract. Just to the right of that, it's going to ask us the action, so do we want to buy this option, sell it, what are we planning on doing? In my case, I want to buy it, so I'm going to go ahead and click on select there, and right at the very top, you can see buy to open or BTO. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. The next thing I need to do is specify how many contracts I want to buy. So in my case, let's say I wanted to buy 2. So I'm going to go ahead and click in the quantity box and type 2, then hit done. Now that I'm happy with that, I simply need to select the order type. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. And for me personally, I don't use any other order type than a limit order when trading options. So right there, I'm gonna go ahead and click on the word limit. The next thing I'm gonna do is specify the price I wanna pay for it. In this case, the current asking price, if I look here, is $20.70. Now for me, I like to try and get the midpoint between those two. So I'm actually gonna click on the limit price right here. And for me, that would be about $19.50. So typing in $19.50 here, we'll hit done. The next thing I need to do is specify how long I want this order good for. In this case, it's marked as a day order, but if I click on that, you'll see the other options available to us. Unlike when we were trading the stock before, you'll notice that the extended hours trading session button is not here, and that's because you cannot trade options in the after hours. Now you still have the ability to use the GTC order, but in my case, I'm just gonna leave it as a day order. So I'm gonna select that again. Now looking through this order ticket again, just running through it, we're about to trade the Coinbase May 20th, 2022 165 calls. I'm gonna buy to open 2 contracts at $19.50. Now, if I actually wanted to place that, I would simply hit the review button in the lower right-hand corner. I would then make sure everything looks right on this confirmation box and then hit place order if I actually wanted to submit it. Now, in my case, I don't actually have enough money and I don't actually want to place this trade. So I'm going to go back to step 1 here and we're going to clear this order ticket out. Now, the other way to do this without actually looking at the option chain for the symbol is by simply coming down to the trade page and then opening up the option tab at the very top. From here, you can just go through this order ticket step by step. So let's say we wanted to trade some Amazon options. Well, then what I'm going to do is select the symbol here, type in Amazon, AMZN, and click on it in the list. From there, I can select the strategy. Right now, it's just asking, do we just want to buy a call or buy a put? And that's what we want to do in this case, so I'm going to leave it. The next thing I can do is come down here to the select option button. And then from there, I need to select the expiration as well as the strike price and whether it's a call or a put. So let's say we actually wanted to trade the April 8th. So I'm scrolling down to those and then we need to select the strike. Let's say I wanted to do the 2,900 puts. So I'm going to switch those both over. And now that I'm happy with that, I'll hit done here. And then the next thing I need to do is select what I'm doing. In this case, I'm buying to open. I'm going to be buying just one of them in the quantity box. And I'm going to select the order type as a limit order, leave it as a day order only, and put the current asking price as the price I want to pay for it, which is $125.25. Once I'm done, I'll simply hit done. And now I've got an order ticket to buy a $2,900 put on Amazon. But as you can see, this is a little bit convoluted for those of you who may be wanting to trade in and out of options very quickly. I don't really think the Schwab app is perfectly designed for options traders. But this is how you would actually do it inside of here. And the last thing I'll mention is how you guys can create a spread in here. So clearing this order ticket out of here, let's actually use a different symbol. Let's go back to Apple. So I'm selecting a symbol here. We'll go ahead and click on Apple in the list. If you want to put on a spread, what we need to do is actually change the strategy. And that's right where it says call/put. If we go ahead and click on that, you'll see all the strategies available to us. And if you scroll through, there are quite a few that you could use. In my case, let's say we just wanted to put on a very simple vertical call spread. So what I'm going to do is click on vertical call at the very top there. From there, you can see it automatically builds out a vertical call spread for us. And at the moment, it says we're about to buy to open one of the 152.5 calls while simultaneously selling one of the 155 calls. If you wanted to change that, you would simply click on the one you want to change. So let's say we actually wanted to make this a 5-point wide vertical. So what I'm going to do is click on the 152.5 call and change that to the 150 strike. Now that I'm happy with that, we'll simply hit done. And now you can see there I've got on a long vertical call spread, buying the 150, selling the 155. You would then just run through this order ticket just like before, specifying what order type you want to use. Like I said, you're generally always going to use a limit order, which is either debit or credit. In this case, since we are buying a vertical call spread, we're going to click on the debit button because we're going to be paying money to buy this spread. We're going to then specify how much we're about to pay for it. If I look here where I'm clicking, you can see the current asking price for this entire vertical is $3.50. Of course, you could ask for a better price than that if you wanted to, but right now that is the current price. So in my case, I'm just going to type in $3.50 here and hit done. But that's it. That's how you put a vertical spread on in this app. Now, like I said, this app isn't really designed for those of you who want to trade options actively, but this is the way to do it. Now, moving off of options trading in here, let's next go over how you guys can buy fractional shares in this app. To do that, we simply need to come down to the More button in the lower right-hand corner. From the More menu, we simply need to find the Stock Slices tab and go ahead and click on that. From there, it's going to give me a little description of exactly how we're going to do this. In my case, I'm simply going to hit the Close button. And now we can see all of the different symbols that we could buy fractional shares of. At the moment, you can't just buy anything fractionally. There's only 505 symbols that we could use. But let's say you wanted to buy fractional shares of Amazon, and you have to buy a minimum of $5 worth of stock. So let's say we wanted to buy $100 worth. What I'm going to do is come up here to the search box in the upper right-hand corner. I'm then going to type in AMZN here, and then select it down below. From there, you can see it says Add Amazon to Order. So if we wanted to buy fractional shares of Amazon, we would just click on that. Add Amazon to Order. From there, you could then select the other stocks that you want to buy fractional shares of. So let's also say we wanted to buy 10 bucks of Apple. So I'm going to exit out of this. And actually just scrolling through this list, we can see Apple down below. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. From there, I'm also going to select Add Apple to Order. And now down at the bottom of the app, you can see I've got 2 stocks selected. So moving forward, if I wanted to actually place this trade, I'm going to go ahead and click on that, selected stocks. From there, you can then see the 2 stock symbols again. And if I wanted to get rid of one, I could just hit the little trash can icon. But in order to move forward, we'll simply hit the big green continue button. And then now we can specify how many shares of the stock we want to buy. So in this case, if we wanted to spend about 100 bucks total, we could just type in enter amount here and type in 100 bucks and then hit done. It's then going to split that 100 bucks amongst those 2 companies. So basically it'll buy $50 worth of Amazon and then 50 bucks of Apple. You also have the ability to reinvest the dividends if you want to. In this case, Amazon doesn't pay a dividend, but Apple does. So if you click on that little checkmark box next to it, anytime Apple pays a dividend, it'll reinvest that money into Apple, buying you more shares of Apple. Now, once you're happy with this, you actually want to place this fractional order, you would simply hit review your selection down below, and then actually place the trade. Now, we don't actually want to do that, so we're actually going to click back here and get out of the Stock Slices menu. Now, the last thing I wanted to go over in today's video was how you guys can customize these tabs that are displayed at the bottom. At the moment, the tabs you currently have selected are Summary, Order Status, Trade, and Markets. But like I said at the beginning of the video, you can change what tabs are down there. So for example, let's say you don't actually use that Markets tab very often, but you instead do look at your watch list very often. So we want to switch those two. Now, in order to do that, we do need to come down to the More button, which is what I'm currently on right now. And then from that More tab, we need to come up to the upper right-hand corner and then select Customize. Once you have that selected, you now have the ability to drag and drop those tabs wherever you want them. So in my case, I want to replace the Markets tab with the Watchlist tab. So what I'm going to do is find the Watchlist tab at the very top and put my finger on it. I'm then going to drag it all the way down to where the Markets tab is at, and then drop it in that list. From there, you can see Markets gets replaced with Watchlist, and now the Markets tab is going to be in the More tab from now on. So now that I hit done, you can see that those tabs now stick, and now if I want to access the Markets tab, I will need to come to the More button. But that should get you guys off to a good start and get you comfortable trading in and using the Schwab Mobile app. If you do have any additional questions for me, feel free to leave them down below, and if you guys are looking for other tutorials on Schwab or Street Smart Edge, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel. But we'll wrap it up here. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you on the next video.